Good afternoon, everyone. It's high noon, September 28th, and welcome to Doc and Queenie Facebook Live.
How are you
I
today,
am,
Doc? You look like you're cabana-ing.
yes, I'm trying to sit in the sun here, almost.
Yeah,
But,
almost.
but when people see this, I will be in the great state of Florida,
Wow.
officially on vacation. You know, even though I've been on vacation for so long.
Well, I was going to say, not that I'm counting, but I think we're up to 29 or 30 weeks
Yes.
now that you've been on vacation during this pandemic, my friend. Is that not true?
Yes, but I thought I would actually get some sun this time. So,
Yeah, there's a thought. Yeah. Well, Florida sounds like fun. That picture's absolutely fabulous.
isn't that cool? That's in a place called Margaritaville. So
Margaritaville. Imagine that. Do they make their margaritas with Kangen water?
I don't know. That's a good question. I will have to ask them when I'm there again.
Yes, I'm sure that will come up in conversation. You bet.
Well, Queenie, I would like to start our traditional Faithful Friends on Purpose shout out to thank everybody for being members on Doc and Queenie.
Nice.
And if you're not a member, hey, just, follow us, give us a like, join Doc and Queenie, and tell all your friends.
That would be great.
And always with my disclaimer of, I apologize if I goof up your name.
I'm glad I picked something easy like Queenie.
Yeah, me too, Doc. That's pretty hard. So you never know.
That's right. We give you a break.
So shout out and thank you, and we are honored to have you as part of our membership. Karen Reyes, Kathy Opold, Carrie O'Connor, Leanne Nixon, Mary Helen Keller, Mary Seabolt, Mindy Anderson, Stephanie Zimmerman, Stormy Lewis, Tasha Shelton, and those are our Faithful Friends on Purpose members of Doc and Queenie Facebook Live that we'd like to say, hey, shout out and thank you.
That is so cool. And of course, many, 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 many people know Karen Reyes because she has a dynamic business with Pixingo. And she is actually the one who created this one shows the fantastic logo for the Doc and Queenie. As soon as Karen sent that over to me, I went, oh my gosh, I love it. I popped our pictures on and the rest is history. So that was super fun. So
awesome.
Thank you, Karen, for doing that.
Thank you. Yes, definitely. It's
I
pretty
love
cool.
That. Can you imagine? I was thinking about this the other day when someone was talking about what does your fourth quarter look like? And I went, it can't be fourth quarter already. Well, hello, yes, it actually almost is. And Thursday will be starting the fourth quarter of this year of 2020. And even though you're getting hot in that ocean, aren't you there, Doc?
It's hot out today.
Yeah, seriously. It's kind of things you think about. What did January 2020 look like? Everybody was creating their words, and I know your word was impact or is impact, and mine is expectation. And what did our words look like way back in January? How has that continued during this pandemic? And then certainly we're in the fourth quarter, and now we're talking seriously, back to school, not back to school, back to college, not back to college, all of those different things. And I was just wondering if the ladies would be inspired or motivated to put down their favorite scripture verse. Because I know with the two of us, you and I, we not only pray often, but it's one of those lift each other up kind of things. And several of the verses that you've taught me or reiterated, shall we say, have been awesome to me. What are some of your faves, Doc?
Well, one of my main ones that has been actually the past year or so that has kind of stuck in my head and my brain has been 2 Timothy 1:7. Which is, for God did not give us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. And that's been a biggie. And appropriate for what has happened in the past 6 months.
That is so true. I mean, my goodness, look at the angst, the stress, all of those different things that people have been encountering. And for me, it has been such a blessing with the friends that we have. Honestly, the Zoom calls have kept us together. Several of our networking groups have obviously gone to Zoom. Some have closed down completely, and that breaks my heart actually. But how do you stay together or stay motivated or uplifted in this time when you don't go out? Some people aren't comfortable in person yet. I know on your flights to the glorious places where you're gorgeous beaches showing. I think about, I mean, it's all different now, even to fly. We thought 9/11 changed flights for us. Hello. Imagine
Right.
the coronavirus has done as far as now everybody's in a mask. I don't know what that has looked like as far as your trip, but oh my gosh, everything has changed. And how are people feeling as far as the people that you talk to a lot in your life, your ladies from church, your different programs you have coming up, things like that?
It's been a mixed, reactions towards it. I
Uh-huh.
actually this morning was talking with a friend of mine she is compromised. She's got some lung issues and
Uh-huh.
she has to wear a mask. And, we were just basically talking about, because it's mandated, you got to follow the rules as much as we do or don't like it, but especially when I'm around her, I'm very careful because it wouldn't take much for her to get sick. It's been a mixed bag of reactions. A lot of people, sometimes I've noticed, have been almost fearful. I mean, tying into that scripture verse,
Exactly.
fearful of catching it, which it is contagious. We're not going to downplay any of that. But like you say, how do you work through that? Because this is not it. It wasn't a norm 6 months ago
Mm-mm.
wearing a mask. Now it seems to be a norm, but yet people seem to be throwing off the mask. And it's almost like a rebellious kind of tone now to it. Yeah, it's a different beast. It's definitely a different beast. But it's all, we always talk about mindset, how you think, how you show up, how you react. And to be fearful, scientifically, when you're fearful, the front part of your brain shuts off. So then you don't make you don't make sense. People make rash decisions. They make rash statements. They do whole bunches of things when they're under fear or anger. Yeah.
That's a rough place to be for a lot of us. When we have been able to go online, which I think the churches that do their sermons on Sundays online, that part was actually genius. Now the caveat to that is, I know several churches around my area are still not up anywhere close to where they were before pre-pandemic, as far as people that are coming in the building. But they have said, and you can actually see on those little screens, their numbers are up with the people watching online. So that is
Right.
awesome. And one of the pastors at one of your churches actually did the sermon one time on fear not is mentioned. Fear not, fear not, fear not is literally mentioned 365 times in the Bible. Every time I hear that now, I literally do the fear not, fear not, fear not, because that was so specific and so intentional. Do you think it's an accident that that's in the Bible that many times? Oh my gosh, hang on a second. Does that mean there's 365 days in the year? Oh my gosh, does that mean we're not supposed to be afraid and we need to be reminded every day? Well, I don't know about you, but I could stand a reminder every now and again, and daily works for me.
Yes.
So I thought
Yes.
that was a fantastic, impactful sermon that he did.
Yes, and really the only thing or person we should fear is God, and that's not even that fear, the definition of fear that we know. That's more of a reverence and honoring, but we really shouldn't be fearing
Uh-uh.
as believers. We really shouldn't
No.
be fearing because he's got it. We talk about that all the time. God's in control. We really don't have much control other than our reaction or what the choices we make,
Yeah,
depending
that
on the
statement
situation.
right there has helped me so much when you talk about those things. And again, being an ordained minister, and I can literally say, okay, doc, where's the this or where's the that? And it works out so beautifully to be able to have someone to actually say, I need the scripture that relates to that. Yes, I can do the search on the Bible piece, but you've been so great to do the backstory, almost, if you will, and to actually bring it home and explain it. And then it's always amazing to me when we send YouTube videos back and forth or different messages, and all of a sudden it's the same one that one of the other of us was watching, and I'm going, oh my gosh, these kind of things are absolutely not an accident. And for all the ladies that are watching with us today, and again, the watch parties have been so fun, and certainly the support. If you have a favorite scripture verse that has kept you going, motivated, excited, and able to get through each one of these days, because we're looking at 7 months now. and of this change in our world. And that has been such a big deal. But if you have a favorite scripture verse that you think the other ladies would be encouraged by, then please put that in the comment section, because I do know that the YouTube channels, the praise and worship music, several scripture verses that you have given me before. And one of the ones I was actually thinking about too, Doc, was James 4:2. We have not because we ask not.
Right.
And what does that look like? It's not necessarily a matter of greed. It's a matter of, how does he know? Well, of course, God knows. But if we don't actually verbalize whatever we're wanting, or in our case, we think we need, those are the kind of things we have not because we ask not. What happens if all of a sudden you just ask your Father for whatever it is? And then the next thing you know, you're blessed by it. And so James 4:2 has been a biggie for me. And you said Timothy 1:7. And of course, one of my faves is, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Imagine where any of us would be if we didn't have God nudging us along and guiding us around.
Right.
Another visual that you've given me that helps me so much is he's gone before us. He already knows what is behind door number 1. And just relax. He's already gone before us. He makes our crooked paths straight. And that has been a biggie for me too. I know those ladies that are behind your head.
Yeah, they were over by where we first met, over in Olathe. Let's see if I can point. We were trying this earlier.
Can't point very well.
Yeah.
No, seriously.
Yeah, forget it.
I know. When we just go like this, and that, yeah. This was our first meeting for everyone who always wonders where the Doc and Queenie of us came. I didn't know you a year and a half ago, and that's is hard to imagine. But this is Fazoli's out in Olathe, Kansas, for those of you who are watching not local to Kansas City, and since Doc's in Florida. This is where Doc walked in, and we had never met before, and that was the first meeting. And one thing led to another, and the different conversations, and here we are, a year and a half later, not even, and that's phenomenal to me.
Oh gosh, yes. And like you were saying, God's got this. He had that. He moves the pieces. He puts us all together. Whoever is watching this right now, it's not an accident. There is a reason. Even if you're just listening and pick up one little thing and it's helpful to you, that's awesome. All of us gathered together, we're kind of communicating anyways, even though we're Zoom and it's just you and I. But when 2 or more are gathered, when we're all in it together, all of those kinds of things that we hear others saying, we're always saying it because that's what we believe. And networking, like you said, networking works. Networking works.
And it goes back to my expectation word. What did you expect? And please be careful and gentle. Did you expect when you walked into this meeting? And I think back every single time about that. We talk about the chess pieces and how God literally works the chess pieces in our favor for these kind of meetings to happen. The chances of you being in Fazoli's, the chances of us having been together as a group for 2 years are about 9 gazillion trillion to 1.
Right.
Yet God worked it out and got us together. And I still, not only do I thank him, and I'm serious about that, but I look back and I just go, wow, dude, you did the oil and water. Look at us.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Totally. No. Yeah. Let's see. What did I expect when I walked in? Well, I've always told you this. I was a little scared. I probably need to drag up that scripture verse, but I was a little apprehensive because it was a different kind of networking. I had been networking in a different way with a previous business.
You had done a lot of vendor shows back then, hadn't you?
Yes, I was more, one-on-one vendor shows. And then there were a few networking groups, but it was more in the alternative health field that I had networked in. So it was more meeting doctors and chiropractors and that kind of thing. So this was totally new. So, and it was kind of scary.
Well, now when you look at these faces, these are your buddies now, so it all worked out great.
Yes, they're all wonderful people, and we cross paths here and there in all of this, and it's fun. People will be, hey, what are you up to? Or hi, how you doing? And that's what it's all about. And that would be a challenge for everybody listening today. Who haven't you heard from lately? Just put a, hey, hi, I haven't heard from you. And I try to do that every once in a while, even with people outside my networking, outside of business. friends. Actually, I just was talking with somebody today that I haven't talked to in about a month. So it's always good to catch up. It's
I think
always,
so
it's always,
too. I do too. I think that's awesome. That's a perfect segue, actually, when you were talking about the networking. Tell us about your business, actually, Doc. What's up with beyondbasichealth.org?
business. Well, still working on getting together. Oh, I'm trying to get my backup screen going here, and I was gonna put this picture here. I would love to be there.
Oh my
As
gosh.
a lot of people know, I love to fish, and this is my with my fishing buddy.
Yeah.
It's the lake that we fish at. But she moved and she left me.
Yeah,
And
well,
that's
it
okay.
sounds like she has left you, but you get a cool place to visit now. So there.
Yes. Yes. Business-wise, well, I'm a naturopathic practitioner. Naturopathic basically means natural medicine, and I own a company called Beyond Basic Health, and I just basically help people from the mind, body, soul. The soul, body, spirit connection. It's Tuesday. It's Monday for me, even though I don't even know what day today it is. I'm in Florida. I'm on
You
vacation.
don't have to know when you're in Florida. That's right.
Better put my glasses back on. But anyways, I approach people with whatever they need from this soul body spirit connection. It's basically the body uh, has three main parts, and if one part is not functioning, for example, the way like we've been talking about here today, the way we think, negativity or fear, the body, you can have disease come about, or panic or anger, or all of those things. And I work with people from that perspective with my Beyond Basic Health. And then I also have a podcast that I do. It's called Mighty Morning Moment, and that's where we work on how we think. I just have they're real short little podcasts, 3 to 5 minutes. It's kind of a morning thought for the day that I like to challenge people with. And then I have my RevDoc 7 YouTube, which is I'm a gardening fanatic, and then I just throw in some fun stuff in there. I'm actually, my original background is in graphic design, so I'm fooling around with, videos and movies and art and all of that kind of stuff.
No
So I'm
wonder
having
you're
fun.
so good at that. Wow.
So I'm having fun with all of it, and I put it all together. I use all of these skills to help people find alternatives, to reach their health goals.
Those
So
look
that's,
amazing. And you glossed over the podcast having reached a milestone. Tell us again about that.
yeah, yesterday. I'm sorry, last week. It feels like yesterday, doesn't it? Last week,
Yeah, kind of.
I hit my number 60 podcast.
Oh
And
my gosh.
and of course, Queenie, you're good at dates. Which day did I start? Was it
March
March
24th. Yes.
24th? I
March
started
20th.
my podcast, and I just thought I'd give it a try. And it's just like, oh my gosh, 60 podcasts later, and it's been fun. I have little series on there. I have little thoughts, different thoughts. There's a whole great big series on friendship, and it's a
Yes.
lot of foundation about what we talk about on this live. So enough about me, Queenie. How about you? I heard you're in the water business. Is that true?
Yeah, it kind of is true, actually. As Doc said, I'm Kathy Weaver, and my company is Kangen Water. And on this show that we're doing right now will air on September 28th, of course, on Monday at high noon. September 29th actually begins my 13th year with Kangen Water. And
Congratulations.
thank you. That is phenomenal to me. First of all, how incredibly fast the time has gone. But secondly, oh my gosh, the people that we have met in this business, once again, you can't even ask or think as big as God can give. And it's kind of back to the James 4:2, have not because we ask not. Prayer has always been, put me in the path of someone who needs me. And as soon as that turned around and that became the prayer, people pop in that I would never have met. They find me on the internet. Yeah, well, probably they really do. They find me on the internet and all of those different places. And that's what I always ask. If it's a referral from one of my reps, I always say, how did you get my name? And they would say, someone sent me. Or they literally say that I found you on the internet. And to think this has been going on for 13 years now, seriously is mind-boggling, because it almost feels like it just happened yesterday. And the success, honestly, the success of Miracles with Water is completely Jesus ordained. It's phenomenal. Because of the water business, I started networking because I didn't know what that meant. And I decided I better figure it out. So we started networking all over the place. And people saw me everywhere and said, oh my gosh, you're everywhere. And I thought, gosh, I kind of am. And then I decided one day I was going to actually put my newly learned skills to work. And I decided, I wonder how many of these things you can do in a day. And so literally I had my business partner drop me off at the door of several of these places just for expediting the speed thing. And literally I did 8 events in one day. And literally started at 7:30 in the morning. I know exactly where that was. There was a 10:30 back then. There was a noon luncheon. There was like a 3 hour. There was a 5 o'clock something, and there was an 8 o'clock. And I literally did this all day long. And I will tell you, by the end of the day, I was literally going, oh my gosh, this is impossible. But it was one of those things, meet and mingle, you know, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time kind of deal. And I tried to see what that would feel like. Too much, by the way, just to save anyone some trouble in that area. But that's how networking on steroids was born. I wanted to see what it looked like to actually focus on networking to meet as many people as you could. And so that's how Jesus actually prompted the book. You need to write a book about this so you can help other people learn. And in my case, a lot of times it's what not to do. I wanted them to have kind of a hands-on. That exploded bigger than I could have thought. And I've actually been able to speak to groups that I couldn't, again, have imagined without Jesus behind me. And I was actually on faculty for the Institute of Organization Management for the United States Chamber of Commerce. And that was fun because they flew me up to Wisconsin to do a gig in Madison for chamber executives from all over the country. And that literally took my breath away because they had to go through my class to move on with their curriculum. And I was like, wow, this is so cool.
That is cool.
That even that level of people, you would be amazed at the networking. I don't know if you'd say insecurity, but their skill level or whatever that looks like was a little bit hesitant maybe. And so I guess it's the same for everyone. As soon as you meet someone new, you kind of have that hesitation moment and how do I this and where do I that and what do I do and what if they don't like me and all that stuff. And we seriously have some tips in there to get over that. And then my second book was prompted by one of my coaches. He hit the clouds running and never looked back. And as soon as that happened, I thought, who's going to read it? You know, who's going to actually want to know about a grief journey? And that also was so well received, I couldn't believe it. Once again, knowing it had to come from Jesus. And then during this pandemic, when I'm thinking, you're on vacation, I think it's time for me to chill. Jesus goes, you're not chilling. And so book number 3 happened, and Networking on Steroids PQ. And that's a guide to networking in a world post-quarantine. And that part right there was completely out of the blue, unexpected. And it's one of those reminders that he's constantly got our back. You know, it's one of those.
We have to leave ourselves open. We have to leave ourselves open to his direction.
Yes.
Really. And it might be subtle sometimes. It might be a brick to the head, others.
Yes.
But I've read all of your books and I love them all. And especially, you know, you always say you've taught me, well, Queenie, you've taught me to look at the grief piece differently, just totally differently and in a positive way. But yeah, and I'm also a part of your water family. Of course, that ties into what I do. It's like a, you know, that's an easy.
And even though we talk a lot about the oil and water piece, it really has been phenomenal how some of your clients have actually benefited because of the water. And if you hadn't been part of the water family, that piece wouldn't have happened. It's phenomenal. When people tell me, honey, I tried that networking stuff one time, it really doesn't work.
One time, yeah.
One time. And that's always funny to me because the relationships that we have gotten with networking, I would not give up for anything in the world. And Jesus really does have a sense of humor. And I'm reminded of that very often. I'm seeing that gorgeous car behind us, behind you.
It does seem like you talk.
Yeah.
I know.
Especially with your awesome license plate. That was so fun. And I see the house. I believe certain people who shall remain nameless were going for a Starbucks latte and found a purple house.
Do you have that on there?
It's actually, the purple house is right behind us.
Oh, there it is. It's let's see if I can point to it.
Yeah. Wherever the
it,
pointing part happens.
there.
Yes,
Pretty,
and that was the funniest thing because purple is actually our favorite colors, which is amazing. With the
yes, we were driving around in circles, wasn't it? It took us
yes,
a couple of shots to find a parking spot.
no kidding,
It
and
was like the
that,
shortest Starbucks drive-through ever. There were like 5 cars,
oh
and
my gosh,
and it was right off of a incredibly busy street. So yeah, we were very upset, but we found it. We kept going.
that was the funniest thing. And then to find Purple House on top of it when purple is our favorite color, and that's a funny thing too. Several of the I don't are those called assessments when you do the earth, wind, fire, and those kind of things.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
taking those, it's so funny how we fit into the certain patterns or the certain types. And I think I told you when I took spiritualgifts.com, I actually didn't know what that was. And we kept kind of trying to decipher what is this oil and water thing? How come it's working? And all of a sudden it was that kind of explained it. My spiritual gifts, the top 3 are faith, administration, and exhortation. And that piece right there was one of the things that we thought, all of this is not accidental, hello. And that
right.
continues to resonate and kind of be our theme. And I know that you've taken several of those assessments too. And that has been so awesome as far as the get to know each other piece.
Yes. Well, yeah, actually, my top 3 for that was leadership, teaching, and edification, which I was like, oh, okay. And we actually did take another that elements test,
Elements.
fire,
Yeah.
water, earth,
Yes.
and wind.
Yes.
And remember that conversation? I'm trying to remember. We thought I would be the earth,
Yes. Because
and
you
I
definitely the soil and the
tree
garden,
hugger.
and you end up water and I end up earth, hello. And I don't do
Yeah, we're like, okay,
stuff
that didn't
right.
fit.
It didn't at all, but the description certainly did. That part was amazing.
Yeah.
I wanted to be water for obvious reasons, and I knew you'd be earth with your gardening skills. And
Well, and I rescue trees. Half
yeah,
the trees in my yard are I call them tree rescues, but they are. It's hilarious. But I'm like, I think I spent maybe $10 on, we've got 8 or 9 trees in our yard that are, 20, 30 feet high now. And one of them I think we paid for.
wow. But think
Yeah.
about that too. You literally, you rescued, I'm so good at names, but is it called a petunia or something that was almost a Walmart reject and the everything on it?
That one is, it looks like a petunia. I think it's in the petunia family. Yeah, I wish, I don't have the picture on there, but yeah, it was half dead.
Absolutely. And then when
Thriving.
you took a picture, I said, there's no way that is that same decrepit looking thing that you rescued.
Yeah,
You brought it back to life, like literally. And
just water.
yeah, but I knew you would be earth. And I was hoping I would be water. And when we took the elements test, it was opposite of that. And I thought, wow,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
amazing. The oil and water analogy that you say all the time is so incredibly true, but it obviously works because we never know who God is going to put in our path. And I think a lot of times for the girls that are watching, and again, we so appreciate the faithful friends on purpose, whether it's on Meetup or our YouTube channels, or certainly on the Facebook Lives, it's never an accident who you have met. And some of the times people would say, would you pray with me? Would you pray for me? What scripture resonates with you? All of those things, once again, are not an accident. And especially as we enter the 4th quarter of 2020, who knows what's around the corner? No one.
Right.
And
right.
to absolutely do the faith and trust thing. And you've been a perfect example of that, actually.
Well, and our friendship, and we've talked about this, and it applies, I think, to everybody, is, there comes a point where, do you want to be a little bit vulnerable or not? I mean, to be vulnerable allows a relationship to grow. That's pretty important. Don't you think, Queenie?
There's a great big T word that might have a lot of people, I don't know if you'd say hesitant, but where's the trust factor come in? And I really wonder if that might be the friendship block hesitant part. If I call you and say, I need prayer, or I have this something, or I'm trying to redo my this, or market my that, or brand my whatever it is, if you have someone that you can trust, that's awesome. Instead of going, oh my gosh, get over it, or just work on it, or you know what I mean? It's back to that vulnerability piece of that's such a big word. I mean, it's
Oh, definitely.
word.
Well, and like you have taught with networking, networking is about relationship. Relationship ties into friendship too. I'm bouncing all over the place here, but it's trusting people, it's being vulnerable. And I know a lot of people don't trust because they've been hurt by others.
Well,
But
true.
really, when you think about that, and it's easy for me to say, but I've had my share of being hurt and stuff happening with other people. But you have to be vulnerable, and you have to actually trust in yourself to let it go and forgive that person and move forward. I mean, that's what it's all about.
It's such a matter of putting yourself out there and taking a chance.
Yes.
Go back into the what if, what if, what if. And when people think in that kind of term, yes, it's vulnerability. Yes, it's trust factor. Yes, it's transparency sometimes. Everybody thinks everybody's all perfect and together.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh,
Right.
that is my total favorite. Everybody, you're all always so perfect and put together. I'm like,
Yeah.
huh? And
I'm glad we've got you snowed. Yeah. Like,
oh my gosh.
okay.
That is
Yeah.
the funniest thing to me, that people go, oh, I wish someday I could be you. And I'm always like, oh my gosh, set your sights so much higher, for heaven's sakes. And then look at your produce again. Every time you put that picture up, I think of our Pico de Gallo day when you came over to my day room and actually taught me how to cut stuff up and make it turn into something delicious. That was kind of fun.
And then we ate the whole thing that same
Yeah.
day. It was good.
Yeah. Yes. And my brain instantly goes to all that work, all that prep, all that.
It's gone.
We snarfed it. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. I'm
Well, we were hungry.
yeah. Yeah. Working around all those fresh veggies kind of took care of that. I did want to share with the picture behind me our fantastic bingo. Our first bingo was in September. Bingo night, super fun with Doc and Queenie and lots of our faithful friends on purpose. We had several rock star sponsors, which was so fun. So
We
they
had a blast.
oh my gosh, they've been able to connect with the girls who won their prizes, and they got a few minutes to speak their game started. Our next one is actually, are you ready?
I'm ready.
20th.
Yay!
So everyone is certainly invited to that. So I did want to share about the bingo, because that people are still talking about that, which is pretty fun to think that we actually can do a virtual bingo. That seems to be the wave of the future, at least for now. And to be able to have the sponsors speak about their companies was so fun. I really did have a great time.
And another venue to connect, and another way we can blaze the trail for how bingo looks on a Zoom call. We're trying to make it look. Well, we were fooling around with the music last time, so we'll see what happens this time.
This time, I think that will be your gift, Doc. I think
we'll try. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to do music anymore if it's before the 19th.
Well, we'll let you do some music, but we'll just point you in the direction of which songs to choose from. How did that sound? Was
everything works. Yes, everything works. Yes, we all have our strengths, I have found. I'm looking for mine. I know it's not music yet, so I will definitely work on that. I wanted to certainly thank everyone for being on the call with us today.
Yes.
Things look a little different since our Doc is actually sunning in Florida, enjoying life right now, but we definitely wanted to stay connected with the faithful friends on purpose. So thank you again for joining us, and please connect RevDoc7 on YouTube, Kathy Weaver KC on YouTube, certainly on this Facebook page as far as Doc and Queenie, and certainly on Meetup, and we really do love that. So Doc, enjoy your trip and take us home, my friend.
Yes, and also KathyWeaverKC.com, and I'm RevDoc7.com, and then Instagram, Kathy Weaver KC, and Instagram, RevDocKC7.
Nice.
We're all over the place, but no, it's an honor. And we are thrilled that you are following us, and please spread the word, do a watch party, have your friends join. I'd love to do shout outs with friends and other business owners, and you don't have to be a business owner either. So don't think it's strict business.
Very true. Mm-hmm.
And, thank you again for taking time out on this Monday at high noon. I'm probably sunburned by now with my feet in the sand somewhere, but
yes, we can't wait to see your pictures when you get back home, Doc.
So anyways, take care, everybody. It's been an honor, and thank you, Queenie, again for another great Doc and Queenie.
Awesome, Doc. Have a blast. We'll see you soon.
Thanks. Thank you.
Bye.
Take care.